Hey there, it's Wake Up. I'm just going to do a quick review regarding The Wire, Season 2. Where do I begin with this thing? Okay, let me just briefly, comparing the new, what's it called, Chicago Code, which is the new biggest cop thing over in America, with that and Breakout Kings. The things with those two shows is it's everything The Wire isn't. Okay, with regards to, you don't have very fleshed out characters, it's not very deep, and it's done like a typical cop show, which is The Wire obviously isn't. I mean, you shouldn't even begin to watch the second season if you haven't seen the first. Okay? The main thing you see with the second season at the beginning is you see all the devastation left from season 1. Like, you see D'Angelo, he's back in it, you've got Stringer Bell, you've also got Avon and what have you, and Bodhi. However, season 2 is a new case, looking at a new thing, and it's all about the docks. Okay? More specifically, it's regarding hookers and drugs. And then later on you realise it's not actually about the hookers and drugs, it's more about the fall of the working man. More and more specifically, this guy, Frank Sobotka. And basically Frank Sobotka sums it up very well. And I'm going to let him tell you basically what The Wire second season was about.
You know what the trouble is, Brucey? We used to make shit in this country, build shit. Now we just put our hand in the next guy's pocket.
There you go. Okay, now basically what that means is he's not really a bad guy. He's an honest working man, skimming a little off the top, like making a few cans disappear, and then he's using that money to pay for the union, to pay to drag up the canal, for good deeds. He's using them for good things, just like D'Angelo was in the first season, how D'Angelo wanted to change the game. But the game, as most people know, it doesn't change, it won't change for anyone. And that's what Frank tries to do with this. Okay? More specifically though, like, he's not a bad guy, like, okay, let's make it like this. Season 2 is often looked at as the weakest season of the entire, all 5 seasons of The Wire, which is something I tend to agree with. There's just something about white people trying to, like, sell drugs and using that whole attitude and nuances that black people do when selling drugs. You know, it always annoys me, and I find it quite laughable. For example, look at Eminem. When he first started going out, it took him several years before he learned. Before he actually woke up and looked in the mirror one day and said, "Hey, you know what? I'm not actually black." You know, it's not actually until about 3/4 of the way through the second season that you actually realise that all the pieces do in fact matter. Meaning you don't realise how complex the actual thing is until you see the board where everything's been laid out, all the characters have been laid out, who they're following, and whether it's drugs, prostitution, or buying up real estate, everything's all laid up. And you're like, Jesus Christ, it's extremely complex, and you don't realise how much of a headache it could actually cause. Like, if you were to go around doing this, introducing all these characters and write a story about it, you wouldn't know where to begin. And the fact that you don't realise how complex it is, or how intelligent it's done, is quite interesting. It was a good, the second season was well done in terms of, you see the effects that the police have to, and the effects and the consequences the police have when they're trying to go through the red tape, when they're trying to write up all the wiretap letters and subpoenas that need to be done, when actually what should have been done was they should have just forgotten it. And what you see in most, like, Chicago Codes, they cut through the red tape and kick down the door and they get the bad guys, where in reality that probably doesn't happen. Whilst they're writing out, spending nights writing up warrants. The criminals are actually, well, they realise they're onto them and they're getting rid of everything. And they're going for a mass shredding session. Omar again is back with The Wire. He's back in it. And he's quite funny. One of the best highlights from season 2 is the face-off he has with Levy, the lawyer. That is quite funny. That's one of the highlights I found. Another thing is you also find yourself screaming at the TV in several episodes at the injustices that you're seeing, and you really feel for this guy, Frank Sobotka. The whole thing rests on his shoulders. Like the whole of The Wire rested on Dee's shoulders in season 1, everything rested on Frank Sobotka and whether you relating to him. And it was a bold move for David Simon to do, to take a highly successful program away from the drugs and to the docks, showing you the working man side, which is quite a very brave thing to do, because he was already getting ratings, if you will, and people wanted to see Avon and Stringer. They wanted to see that relationship, and to completely move away from that was a work of ingenious, in my opinion. And the guy had balls to do that, you know, he had real balls. So it was good. So season 2 often this is the weakest one, the weakest season from the entire Wire. And I'll be honest with you, considering it to be weak, it's still head and shoulders above any other top TV show. And it's definitely worth a watch. And if you're probably watching this, you've already seen it. This wasn't the season, nor season 1, that made me think that The Wire was a masterpiece. It was actually, if I remember rightly, it was between season 3 and season 4, which I'm going to review next once I've rewatched them. But yeah, thank you very much. The site, by the way, is www.talkaboutworld.net. Forum for the real fan, get on it. And bring on Comic Con, it's going to be quite funny. Cheers for watching, and take care. I'll see you on the boards.